All right, all right, all right. We're back. We're back. Welcome back to the ONFORM podcast with unconfirmed. We start. Okay, there we go. We're back live. Okay, boom, boom, boom. We back. We back. We back. Welcome back to the ONFORM podcast. My name is Roman. Very excited to be with all of you today. Uh, we have returned. We have returned from the dead. Liverpool FC have. And I see you, Dan. I am doing great, my friend. Appreciate you for tuning in. What's up? I don't know if that's a hola or a holla from Tosin, but what's up, brother? Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Very excited to just be back in the swing of things, man. To be back reviewing Liverpool content, talking Liverpool content with all of you. Hey, Alex, what's up? What's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Or good to see your name. But man, we got a lot to talk about, especially when it comes to rumors and news and all of this extra stuff that's going on at the club at the moment. It's kind of crazy, some of the stuff that's coming out and that I'm seeing, but hey, we're in the international break. And if you can't tell, like some of the stuff that I've been seeing has just been like, oh yeah, we're in the international break. Like people are trying to get some engagement going and trying to get rumors going that low-key don't exist. But then there's some stuff that has weight to it, right? There's definitely stuff that has weight to it for sure. So we'll have to see where any of these things go. But what's the update on Chiesa and Elliott? I haven't personally seen much about either of those two, whether they're healthy or not, or what's going on with them. The word was is that they were going to be 100% fit and ready to go after international break. I don't know if that's the case because I know with Harvey Elliott, the whole idea was, or whole, I guess the belief was that he was going to be ready by the Chelsea game, which didn't work. And then he said, okay, we're going to need 4 more weeks. So we'll see what ends up happening with those two. I personally haven't heard anything about either of them. I know that Chiesa was supposed to be having like a mini training camp with us over this international break, which I totally get and I understand. And I know there's like a field or like a school of Liverpool fans who believe that Chiesa may be a flop of a signing, another one of the Italian curses that we brought on. But for me personally, I think Chiesa was never supposed to be that type of signing. He was never supposed to be a signing where it's just like it's a success or it's a failure. I don't think he was ever supposed to be that. I think he was supposed to be an opportunity signing, a signing that, oh, there's a world-class player or a player that has been at world-class level consistently at some point available on the market for tremendously cheap. Okay, maybe there's an injury record there that we need to pay attention to, but I think Arne Slot's thinking if my physio team gets a hold of him, he'll be all right. And I think that's what's happening right now. I don't think it's a specific injury kind of thing and why he's not available in any of these matches. I think it's more of a we need to get you up to a fitness level. And we know that the Italian league has a different level of intensity than the Premier League, right? Even though they demand a lot of running in the Italian league as well. I know that Juventus specifically is very notorious for making their players run an additional like mile or 2 miles if they don't hit certain mileage milestones in game, which I feel like is kind of crazy. But again, he was frozen out of that Thiago Motta team. He didn't have a preseason, hadn't pretty much played in 3 or 4 months. So we'll see what happens. And that's right, Brian. He was an opportunity signing. He was never planned. He was never meant to actually come on and make an impact. It was one of those things that like, oh, this is a world-class player available on the cheap. Let's get him. And if he produces for us, phenomenal. If he doesn't, we can move him on and either get our money back or make a little bit of profit, right? And I think that was always the mindset and the idea from the Chiesa deal from the very, very beginning, right? So we'll see what happens with Chiesa. Hopefully we got an assist out of him. But hopefully he does come back and he can make a difference, because I feel like we're going to need everybody. We're going to need everybody in this last push for in December, because the games are going to be coming back to back to back to back to back to back to back in December, and injuries are inevitable. Fatigue is inevitable. We're going to need a deep squad where the level does not drop very much. I mean, we have 6 forwards, right? Or I think I'm maybe doing the math wrong, but we have at least 6 forwards that we'll have at our disposal that we can kind of rotate in and out. We can try different things. I mean, we saw Luis Diaz in the false 9 position, which, you know, kind of threw Leipzig off for a loop. Maybe we could do something really clever with Mo Salah or something really clever with Chiesa. You never know with Arne Slot, which is what I love about him. And then Alex said, super excited for Chiesa, man. I got a feeling he's going to be better. Divock, BC, Origi. Big dog, Divock Origi, a legend at Liverpool for sure. And he could be an impact signing. He could be an impact sub where you bring him on. He has the pace. He has the skill. He has the directness to be a really good impact off the bench kind of player. If you look at some of his stats before he even came to Liverpool, and then not very exciting Juventus side, his take-ons per 90 are actually higher than Luis Diaz's, and you know how direct he is. And his goal-scoring actions per 90 is higher than Darwin Núñez's, and you know Darwin Núñez is Captain Chaos. And if you didn't get the memo on that, I think Chiesa coming in and immediately trying a flip kick when he was subbed on for the only game that he got to play for us is enough to tell you how all action he is. And I think he's the perfect impact sub off the bench. So Brian said, 100% nothing about Chiesa as a player or a person. It was an opportunity and a quick sell for a couple pounds. It's true. And then Dan says, of Liverpool Talk. By the way, Dan changed his name to Liverpool Talk. If you guys have not noticed that, he's also another Liverpool content creator. Check his stuff out. He does more shorts related stuff, which are really great. Even with Chiesa out, placing first in both leagues is crazy stuff. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, Chiesa really wasn't even he wasn't in the plans in the first place. So a lot of our main guys have stayed fit and are producing. Cody Gakpo on the big stage and international duty, still putting up crazy numbers. Luis Diaz, same thing. Mo Salah, same thing. So I'm really happy. I'm really happy with these players. The only one that's really has not been able to kind of hang around for very long and make a massive impact has really just been Diogo Jota, who's been out and, from what I understand, will be back after this international break. So we'll see. Our forwards are on fire, right? I mean, I think I read somewhere someone said that statistically we have the best attacking set of players in the world right now, right? The most goals and assists amongst our attacking troop in the world right now. And I know a lot of people, they don't love Darwin Núñez. A lot of people don't, necessarily love Luis Diaz. Maybe that's changed in the past couple of months, but you can't knock the fact that these 6 are some of the best performing forwards in Europe right now, right? So no UCL without Origi, and that is a fact. That is a fact. And then Brian says, how about bringing Doak back? He's grease lightning right now. Oh, man. I could not. I was like, that's like one of the big things that I want to talk about today is Ben Doak, who I have always known, and he's kind of flown under the radar after he got injured last season. That was supposed to be his breakout season last season under Klopp, and I thought he would get a lot of time, but he had that injury that kept him out pretty much the entire season. He's the real deal, guys. I think Ben Doak is the real deal. I really do. And I've always thought that for a long time. I did think that injury was going to be too much for him to come back from, though. Just because I've seen some interviews and have gotten to kind of read his personality a little bit. He seemed a little bit, I don't know if it was just his desire to do really, really well all the time. There was like this one, I don't know if you call it an interview, but there was like a video on YouTube of him being really upset with his FIFA rating and being almost bummed out and disheartened about his first ever FIFA rating. And I'm just like, I don't know if that's a good mentality. I know that's a weird thing to gauge off of, but I look at little, really small things. He was really bummed out And I was just like, imagine something actually important happening to this kid. What's going to end up happening? You know what I mean? And then the injury happened. Jurgen Klopp leaving on top of that. I was just like, I don't know if he bounces back. And then he gets shipped off on loan. I'm like, I don't know. He might be another Ben Woodburn, right? He might be another Ryan Brewster, one of these insane talents that we thought, oh, he's the next guy up. He's the next kid he's the next Raheem Sterling, attacking talent out of Liverpool's academy. And he got shipped off to Middlesbrough, and I was just like, I don't know, but he showed out and has been showing out all season. We just haven't really been talking about him. Actually, he has been outstanding for Middlesbrough, like all season, actually. And what I think is really interesting about Ben Doak is that he's a right footer that plays on the right wing. I mean, like, when's the last time you've seen that? Like an attacking right-footed forward or a right-footed winger that plays on the right wing. Like, that's like so rare, where especially these days where pretty much like wingers are just wide forwards, right? They're not like true wingers that just, put their defender in a blender and then put in a beautiful cross or a cut back. I feel like those wingers are much, much more dangerous. And no, and this isn't, you guys know this is no slight to Mo Salah. Mo Salah is one of the best to ever do it, ever, ever, ever. But I feel like those types of wingers, those OG wingers, where it's just like, you were right footed, you're going on the right wing, or you were left footed, you're going on the left wing. Those types of wingers, almost like a Gareth Bale, you know what I'm talking about? Almost like a Gareth Bale that just torment defenders because you don't know if he's going outside to cross it. You don't know if he's cutting in to bang one in. You don't know if he's cutting back. You don't know what he's doing. And I think that's what made Gareth Bale so damn scary for defenders when he was coming up, because he was left-footed on the left side, insane pace, insane dribbling, insane physicality. Like, I think we could have a similar type of player. I know Doak is missing that physicality piece, which I think he can develop, especially being like that similar build to Mo, because I know Mo is like notorious as being one of the stronger wingers in the Premier League. If he can build that type of strength and resilience, we got a player on our hand, man. We got a player on our hands. And arguably the best player in the championship right now, no doubt. Him, and we can't forget him and Luis Kumas. Don't forget Luis Kumas is also in the championship right now, I think with Stoke, and he's playing his ass off too. Who I could see take up a central role, which is what he's kind of been playing more so at Stoke. Than being a winger, a left-sided winger, which is what he was at Liverpool. I remember Klopp saying that Kumas is like, he's a natural-born finisher. He's like one of the best finishers that I've ever coached. I remember Klopp specifically saying that. He's like, that boy can finish the ball from anywhere. And I mean, there was this one turning volley that he did. I think it was like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. And I'm just like, what? It was like very Zlatan-esque, the finish that Kumas had. We got some talent coming through. I'm hearing Stefan Bajcetic is doing really well over at Leipzig as well. I haven't heard much about Bobby Clark, believe it or not. Which I know we have a buyback clause for him. Let me know if you guys have heard much about Bobby Clark, but I've really just been hearing about Stefan Bajcetic, who also came out and said that he's in contact with Liverpool staff and our back room pretty much every single week, which is a really, really good sign that shows that we have long-term plans for Stefan for sure. So we'll see what happens. And then Alex says the only issue with Ben in the amount of yellow cards he has, but does show the desire to press and defend. That's all we need, man. That's all we need. If the intensity is there, we can teach him how to make smart challenges. Slot can teach him how to make smart challenges, just like how he's taught Trent how to make smart challenges and defend a lot smarter than he has been, right? But the main thing is can you bring that directness? Can you bring that danger on the right wing that we get with Mo Salah when he needs a break or when he eventually decides to move on? I think the kid has it. And mind you, he's doing this on the international stage against who many believe Guardiola is the best left back in the world right now. He put the best left back in the world in a blender right now. right? Like best technically talent, best defensive, and best scoring left back that we've seen in a long time, maybe ever in Guardiola if he can keep it up and stay consistent with what he does. And he made him look like he didn't know how to defend. Like I don't think we can shy away at that. And I know it was just one game, but you got to understand, who is he doing this to? And I think he just needed that confidence. I think he just needed the run of games in. He just needed to know he was the main man somewhere, I guess, which is at Middlesbrough. And mind you, this is, I believe his was only like a half season loan as well. So I'm hearing that there's a lot of teams who are queuing up to want to get him for the second half of the season. But I'm interested to see if Arne Slot decides to keep him the second half of the season, especially if Chiesa's fitness doesn't come up to the way that he wants, or somebody gets injured or something like that. Jota is kind of up and down, whatever it may be, right? I'm interested to see if he ends up staying for the full season or not. So we'll see what happens there, but definitely a lot to talk about for sure. I also am hearing about Christian Pulisic as an option. What do you guys think about Christian Pulisic? Like, if we were to sign a winger, for the wingers that we have on tap, the wingers that we're linked with, right? If we were to go for a winger in January, which I know really is not a priority right now, and shouldn't be, which I find really, really strange why we're even linked with wingers, which may tell us something about what could potentially happen with Federico Chiesa, or what is potentially happening with Mohamed Salah. Who would you guys want to see? Would you guys want to see Christian Pulisic at the club, who I keep seeing? Would you want to bring Ben Doak back? And then today I'm hearing about Marcus Thuram, right? I'm hearing about Marcus Thuram as well. And I know he's not a winger. He's more of a central striker, but can play either wing. We really don't need the LeBron James of soccer, right? Alex said, I'll pass on him hard. I don't care that he's American. He's just not Premier League material. True. His attitude is problematic at times. He's desperate to be the main act, and that won't jive with Slot. Very true. Very true with Pulisic. He just shows some of those flashes of brilliance that's just like, damn, what a player he could potentially be. But it's just the fact that him and Gio Reyna, right? Him and Gio Reyna are two supremely talented young players that just cannot get out of their own ways. They just can't. And they always have problems internally in the locker room. They don't end up sticking around at clubs for very long. I don't know. So we'll see. Hopefully that link doesn't go too far, but you never know. Liverpool are known to make really interesting and weird signings. But I like the Thuram signing as well. Ben or Brian, my bad. Sorry, brother. Sorry, I won't get it wrong again. But I like the Thuram signing as well. Big physical forward, athletic. I know he's kind of a Italian league goal scorer, but I like him. I do. And then I'm seeing, do you think Man City's struggle is deeper than what we've seen so far? They chase with a raised cutlass, and I'm really bothered. I'm not sure what that last part means, but Man City's struggle is deeper than what we've seen so far. Could it go further? Yes. Could Man City continue to struggle beyond these past 4 games? Yes. 100%. 100%. Could we see a decline? Yes. Every dynasty falls. Every dynasty has an up and a down. We had ours 2 seasons ago, right? 2 or 3 seasons ago, where we weren't even sure. We didn't know if Klopp was even going to make it to the end of the season. I don't know if you guys remember this season, but like, we were in a bad way, and then we kind of stormed back and got a 3rd place finish. But it's just like, every dynasty has a fall, right? And then Tottenham, they have Tottenham next, right? They have Tottenham this weekend. Tottenham could do a very Tottenham thing, and they could scalp City, right? which they've been known to give City a tough run. You know, as Pep Guardiola has been the manager there. Tottenham has never been an easy game for Manchester City. They then play Feyenoord. There's ties to Arne Slot there. It's going to be an intense game, obviously. You know that the Feyenoord supporters are going to want to do Arne Slot a favor and beat Liverpool's biggest rivals. So there's risk there too. And then they play us. Who were flying high. It doesn't look like we're probably going to lose anytime soon. I know there's some people that are saying, the next few fixtures are pretty tough. I mean, we play Southampton, we play a faltering Real Madrid, and then we play a faltering Manchester City, who could still drop points in between the time that we play them and now. And Tottenham, that's right, Brian. Tottenham have already beat them this season in the Cup. So they already have that mental edge over them. And now with 4 games lost coming into this game, they're going to think about that loss. And even though they're going to say they gave that loss away or whatever it might be, they're going to think about that loss. They're going to think about that cup loss 100%. And they're going to say, man, there's a possibility that we could go 5 on the bounce. There's a possibility we could go 5 on the bounce. And I think that's going to affect them mentally, man. It really is. So I know people say that our run of games are a little bit challenging, but I think we beat Madrid. And obviously we beat Southampton. But I think we beat Madrid, and I think we can beat City. We're playing both of these teams, these scary monsters, at the right time, where both of these teams are coming off losses. Not talking about Southampton, who, obviously is a lower on the table type of side, who can be tricky probably. But I feel like Slot will be able to handle that pretty easily. But we're playing Real Madrid, who's, even if they get a win, they'll have 1 win in their last 5. And then same thing with Man City. They'll have 1 win in their, or maybe 1 or 2 wins in their last 6. So we'll see what happens. And then give me Marmoush. He's the one, guys. I'm telling you, Marmoush is the man. I mean, he's a similar age as Mo was when he had his breakout season. And I know I talked a lot of trash about Marmoush, and I was just like, oh, he's not that guy. I'm looking at some of his stats, but Mo was a late bloomer too, right? We have to keep that in mind. Mo was a player, and maybe that's why his career is shown a little bit more longevity than some of the other superstars, and he's still staying consistent even in his late age. He bloomed late too, so if we could have another Mo on our hands. We're at 25 years old. He has another breakout season. I don't know. We'll see. 18 goals and assists in the league on 10 matches is absolutely insane. Banging in free kicks. He's fast. He's threatening. We'll see. I hope I'm very wrong about him, but who knows? It's a total FSG type of signing. But the fact that he is so out there and out front and very popular right now makes me think that maybe FSG doesn't go for him, because they love the under the radar type of signings. But we will see. There is that connection to Mohamed Salah. He is Egyptian. Mo has nothing but great things to say about him. We'll see what happens with Marmoush. We'll see. And then Liverpool talk, Dan. What made me laugh about Pulisic was that the ESPN woman who put him in the conversation with Messi and Ronaldo and then immediately turned her comments off. Yeah, no, let's not do that. Yeah. Pulisic it couldn't even be compared to Messi's left pinky toe. Maybe his right pinky toe even. Tottenham beat them already. Yep. Reese, what's up, brother? Welcome in, Reese. You are the man. Appreciate you, bro. Who can we buy from Lyon? I'm hearing Ryan Cherky. I'm hearing Ryan Cherky is someone that we admire. And I brought him up, I want to say like maybe 4 live streams ago, when we were it was still the transfer market, so maybe 5 or 6, maybe more than that, 7 live streams ago. Because we had some interest in him right on deadline day. I remember that there was like a lot of noise around us potentially bringing him in on deadline day, but we ended up going with Chiesa instead. And I think we can get a cut price deal for him as well. They just got handed a relegation punishment. Damn. Yeah, they may not be a club after the end of this season, which is really sad because they have such a rich history. And you'd think that that's like a prime kind of club that FSG would want to take over, especially because we were in for Bordeaux for a while. Um, so I'm interested to see what ends up happening with Lyon if FSG ends up buying them and saving them. If they go down to the second division in France, and it's like a fire sale. We can get some talent over there. Malik Fofana is one of those guys that I think is a a a, a choice for sure out of them. Who else is on their roster? Obviously, Maxence Corquet is another one. I heard Lacazette is maybe going to Madrid. I saw that rumor. So we'll see. And then Red Chili said, just got back from Aldi, had to stock up on some German lager. Always seems like a og during the international break. 100%, man. I'm so glad that we're back. I'm so glad. And then the next one won't be until March. So we have nothing to worry about. We're just going back to back to back with this thing up until then. And then the French league is dying thanks to PSG. And that is a fact. It's not competitive. Smaller teams can't earn money because PSG wins it every year. And this is what happens. And that's what we're talking about, and why it's so important for us to nip a lot of these financial fair play stuff in the bud early. And we encourage teams to be ran more like us, be ran more like a Brighton, be ran more like a Bournemouth, right? Or a Nottingham Forest. All these teams who do spend money, we do spend money, maybe not us so much, but they do spend money, but they stay within their means, and they use, a lot of income from outgoings, especially Brighton. Otherwise, we could turn into another French league. Obviously, not immediately, right? Because we have all these TV rights deals and stuff like that. But being competitive is so important. It's so important for all sports. And sadly, the French league is paying the price for letting PSG essentially just do whatever they wanted. And I think we all agree that we need a signing in January. 100%. What signing we need in January? Let me know. What do you think is priority number one for a signing in January? I'll put it in the chat. What is priority number one for a January signing? If we were to sign just one player in one position, because I feel like that may be I don't think it's going to be a multiple kind of deal. I don't think it's going to be like a multiple signing kind of thing. Let's be really honest there. We're not getting a multiple signing kind of thing. If we were to pick one player in one position, what are we going with? What's the most important thing that if Liverpool were to show a sign of intent, they were to show the league that they're serious, what signing are we going after? What position are we looking to fill? I'm hearing a lot of stuff about Milos Kerkez. I don't know if that's a priority position. I'll be honest. What do you guys think about Milos Kerkez? Because he's good, and I think he's definitely one for the future. Rapid, great ball dribbling ability. Good defensively. He did well against Mo Salah when we played them. But do we really need another left back? Like right now, like immediately? I mean, Tsimikas is a good deputy. Robbo isn't all the way finished. Like, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Is that the most important thing that we need right now? Like, I don't know if going for Kerkez over anybody else is the most important thing. And then Brian says probably a 6. Nah, just one somebody. Maybe. Oh yeah, I saw Loic Bade as well of Sevilla as a Van Dijk backup. I heard that we agreed a fee on that. I don't know how true that is. Like, this whole podcast is just going to be about rumors, right? Because the international break was kind of crazy. We were popping off with so many rumors. It's actually kind of weird because that's totally not our thing. But I'm interested to see if any of these actually have any weight and they actually carry over into January, and we see any of these actually pan out. At center back, keep that back four strong. I agree. I like Loic Bade. I also like more Gerald Hato or Hato. Gerald Hato. I think if we sign one player, because he's a two birds, one stone kind of player, maybe a three birds, one stone kind of player. He's built in that mold of a Urian Timber, of a Quentin Timber, where you can put him left back, you can put him right back, you can play him center back. He can even play as a holding midfielder. That's how tactically versatile and technically versatile this kid is. But also great defensively and has the pace to play pretty much anywhere across the back line and even step into midfield because he's very good technically on the ball, great passing range, great passing ability. I like Gerald Hato a lot. And I think he's 17 years old, maybe 18 years old. If you don't know about this kid, look him up. Fantastic. Has already captained the Ajax side as a teenager. We'll have another captain on the team, right? So I like him a lot. If we're going for one guy and we want to save some money and we don't want to sign multiple players, I think he's the signing you go for in January because he can deputize it as a holding midfielder if we need to. And but a very defensive holding midfielder, but does have the passing range, the ball control to play that Gravenberch role, but not as good as Gravenberch. Obviously, Gravenberch is like a large Thiago. The more that I watch him, but covers that left back position very well. He's 6 feet tall. He could still grow being a teenager. He could gain another inch or two in another 2-3 years, right? Which is a total possibility. Bags and bags of pace and great in the air and great with the ball on the ground. I think he should be priority signing number one if we're actually going for one. And I saw that we were linked with him as well. He's Dutch. Obviously, that Virgil van Dijk influence will be huge. The Ryan Gravenberch influence will be huge, given that they're both from the same academy, right? The Ajax academy. They're probably in his ear about a lot of those things. If there's actually any traction or weight to any of these reports. But if I'm picking, that's the one that I'm going after. I'm not doing Milos Kerkez because I think you get a lot of that ability from Hato, but you also get the center back backup for VVD as a left-sided or left-footed center back with that signing. That's my pitch. That's my pitch right there. That's my pitch. That's the one I'm going for. So you guys let me know. I don't know if you guys know about Hato. He's not super well known, but he's worth a look into if you guys have some extra time today. But Alex said, Robbo isn't that guy anymore, bro. I love him, but you can't be sentimental when it comes to sports. And that is a fact. And I think that was like one of the biggest downfalls of Jurgen Klopp was that maybe we were a little bit too sentimental and we didn't move players on when we probably should have and buy new players when we probably should have. Because at the end of the day, if we really want to be honest, those players would move on at any opportunity that they would get for a better situation, which we've seen, right? We saw with Hendo. We saw with Fabinho. We saw with a lot of the players that, Jurgen loved and adored and fought for extra contracts for and played every single game, even though, maybe they weren't at that level. And a lot of those players ended up moving on, without even really thinking about it twice, some of them. So you're right. And then Brett Chili said, I'm unsure. I'm half and half. Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting window because we have a very deep team, but then at the same time, there's still like holes in the side. Like we're deep in like all the wrong areas, if that makes sense. Like we're very deep in the wide areas. We're very deep in attacking midfield options, but we're very shallow in holding midfield options. We're very deep in defense, but not like in the area of the defense that we need. Like we have plenty of left backs that we could even call in from loan. We have right backs that can all step in. I mean, we have Bradley, we have Trent there. We also have who's the other I think he's Scottish kid that also is out on loan. We could bring him back from loan. Stevens is another one. Lucas Stevens is another one that's actually really skilled and is also out on loan. We have options there, but just not as a left-sided center back. Like we specifically need a left-sided center back, which we don't have. And then Brian said maybe Varela. Varela is an option, man. I heard that he actually ended up signing a new contract after we were interested in him and tried to sign him on deadline day. Which I feel like just from the reports that I was hearing, maybe it was a lot closer than we thought, because like legitimately, like maybe 2 days later, um, he signed another contract and his release clause, I believe, ballooned up from like 30-40 million up to 100 million. So I don't think that one's happening. I like Varela a lot, but I think he may have just priced himself out of a lot of conversations to kind of move on to a different club and do different things. But he's still very young. Still very young. Some backup for Gravenberch. She is essential for the slot system. It's true. And the only person that I can really think of that could do that Gravenberch role, great ball carrying, good vision, good ball control. You know the man. You are very familiar with this individual, Zubamendi. I think he's probably one of the only players on the planet right now that can really do that role in the way that Slot wants him to do. There aren't very, very many technically good DMs right now. Larson is another one who also plays for Frankfurt with Omar Marmoush. I think he is also a really a big option. But from what I understand, that Frankfurt is like, if you want Larson, you are going to have to pay a lot of money for him. So Hugo Larson, he's another one that's really high on my list as well. I like Hugo Larson a lot. 6'2", big beast of a kid. I believe he's 20 years old. Very good technically, press proven, good passing range. He's almost like Gravenberch in a similar build actually. So maybe that's an option. But Frankfurt has been, from what I understand, is very clear that if anybody wants Larson, especially in January, it's going to be for an exorbitant amount of money. But 6'2", Swedish baller, I like him a lot. Javi Guerra is another one that was linked with Tottenham over the January transfer window, and I bring him up actually a lot on this channel. He's another one that I really like a lot too. Javi Guerra is a baller too, big kid too as well, 6'2". I think these are the next generation of holding midfielders that are coming out. Some of these names that I'm just firing off to you, Varela, Guerra, Hugo Larson, I think those are going to be big names coming down the line in terms of just like, these are massively talented kids that are just waiting to explode and do their thing on the big stage. Guerra is another one that very good technically, great ball control, great passing range, big physical, and what you look for in a slot style type of defensive midfielder. So don't be surprised if we do go for a backup for Ryan if those names aren't on the list. Warden is another one of those guys that's in a similar mold. We'll see if Crystal Palace, they lighten up a little bit on their stance on him. I know they wanted like 80, 100 million for him, but because they're, kind of fighting in the relegation zone a little bit this season, I'm curious if they'll drop the price on him. He's another one that's like one for the future. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And then Ben Doak, absolutely. We talked about Ben Doak earlier. Ben Doak is a serious talent. Could you imagine him in Rio Namuha? Him on Rio on the left side, Doak on the right side, and like we're set with the wingers for like the next 10 years. Crazy talent coming out of Liverpool. We're like the Barcelona Academy right now with some of the guys that we're producing out of our academy. And I'm very, very excited about some of these guys to get a shot. Trey Agnoni is another one. I like Tyler Morton a lot. Hopefully he gets another shot in there as well. He actually played that Gravenberch role pretty well, believe it or not, when he came in. So we'll see what happens there. But gimme Osimhen, we'd be set. Is Osimhen having a good season? I don't know if Osimhen's having a good season or not. Because I know that he's having a great season. He's 6 goals, 2 assists in the Turkish league. But I know Nigeria just lost to like this like random nobody African nation recently, and Osimhen and Boniface played, and they lost. So I don't know. I don't know if he's ready for the big stage. I heard Man United is trying to do a swap deal though with Xerxes and him. So we'll see what happens. I think a striker could go a long way. 100%. I do. Because maybe we're okay in midfield. Maybe we are okay in midfield. I mean, Maka is more than capable of covering in that DM position. I know he doesn't love it, but I think he has the skills and the ability to cover for Ryan if something happens. And then Curtis Jones. Curtis Jones, anybody? I'm sorry, Curtis Jones. I was not familiar with your game, my boy. Curtis Jones is a serious talent, bruh. Curtis Jones is a serious talent. And somebody made a really good point. I was watching a video. Someone made a really good point that they were like, I've always been behind Curtis Jones. A lot of our own fans have actually been on Curtis Jones's head, like unwarranted, mainly because we've got to see him grow up at the club. And we remember all of the mistakes. We remember all of the blunders. We remember all of the bad games versus a player like Alexis McAllister, where we never got to see Alexis mess up. We never got to see Mo Salah mess up. We never got to see a lot of these Virgil van Dijk cut his teeth at Celtic. We never got to see those players in the developmental stage where we've seen that with Curtis, and a lot of those things stick in our mind, and we're like, Curtis isn't that good. Remember that one time? And we can't let it go. And it's like a similar thing with like Trent. Like Trent has had some poor defensive moments, and we don't let that go. And like Trent's been great defensively even before Slot came in. He's been even better since Slot's come in. But at the end of the Klopp era, he was good defensively. But that narrative just continues to follow him around because we've been able to see him grow up before our eyes, similar to how Curtis was. And I think Curtis is now grown up. I think Curtis is now turning and has turned into the player that Steven Gerrard always believed that he could be, that Klopp has always believed that he could be, and some of our fans have always believed that he could be. And I'm really happy for Curtis. So we might be okay in the midfield with Harvey Elliott coming back into the mix of things, right? Is going to be a huge help. Rotating Morton into there is going to be a huge help. So we might be okay in the midfield. And like what you said, Reese, I think a striker could go a long way. I think a bona fide goal-getting bad, just a bad man in there, somebody that's just going to bury him, is going to go a long, long way, I think, in this title race. Because I think it's going to end up going to, when can we get crucial goals and crucial moments? And I'm not sure if Mo Salah has unlimited amount of crucial goal, crucial moments in him this year. I don't know if he does. We need another guy that can come in and get a crucial goal, crucial moments. And Jota is typically that guy, right? He's Mr. Reliable that can come in and bag a goal, be clinical and lethal, but he has to be healthy is the key. We know Nunez is probably not going to be that guy. I love Nunez, bless his soul, but we know that he's probably not going to be that guy where we're going to be like, we need a goal, give it to Nunez. We need a goal, put it in the box, and Nunez is going to go get it. That's just not going to happen. So Marmoush may be a guy. He may be somebody. Gyökeres may be somebody. I can't see, because he's going to be $100 million minimum, especially in January. I can't see FSG forking up another $100 million for another striker from the Portuguese league in January. But that would be my ideal pick of like a bona fide goal getter. If we buy him, it's a statement of intent, and everyone will be running scared. Everyone will be running scared if we go get Gyökeres in January. His manager that believed in him, developed him, is gone. Now is the time. If there is any time to go get Gyökeres, it's right now. He hasn't had too much time to think about it. He's not, should I follow Amorim? No, let's go get him right now. If they were going for a forward. So we'll see. That's probably not going to happen. Let's be honest, though. City will get him if we don't. Yeah, City will definitely. I can see Osimhen being a City striker, backing up Haaland. But we'll see. I can see United getting Osimhen. Honestly, I think he gives me Manchester United vibes, and apparently they're really high. He's really high on Amorim's list. And I heard that Amorim actually isn't going to go back and go shopping at Sporting. That he doesn't want to do that. He wants to find whole new players, develop the players that are there at Manchester United. So maybe he doesn't go to Manchester United. Gyökeres doesn't. So we'll see. Rumors are saying that we're going for Zuby again in January. Yes, I've saw that story over and over and over. I don't know if we go back. I mean, how do you guys even feel about that? How do you guys even feel about that? How do you guys even feel about us going back for Zubamendi in January, given that he's just so freaking. It was a weird situation. It was weird how it ended up unfolding, and it kind of left a bad taste personally in my mouth. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't love the way that Zubamendi handled the whole thing. I didn't love the way that Hughes handled the entire thing, of course. So I don't know. You guys tell me what you guys think about Zubamendi. I don't know. But he's probably one of the only players, like I mentioned before, that can do that Ryan Gravenberch role right now. And at a high level and a consistent level, a lot of those players that I mentioned before, Hugo Larson, Javi Guerra, Warden, and then I mentioned one more, but I can't remember. Oh, Varela. They can do that role, but can they do it at a high level, and can they do it consistently like a Zubamendi can? I'm not sure. So shout out to Robbo scoring the winner for Scotland with the header. I saw that. Madness. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Um, and Doak maybe starting a revolution there. You never know. I never stood the Walker's better defender than Trent. Yeah, me either. And I think it's because Walker just has great recovery speed and like it looks really good in highlights and stuff like that. But I've always thought Trent has been a solid defender. In a lot of those situations and scenarios where he gets left in the dust or he gets burnt or it looks like he's walking back on defense, a lot of those, if you look at the context, aren't his fault. Or he's doing exactly what Jurgen Klopp is asking him to do. So don't give up on Darwin. He's a monster. He is. Force of nature on the break. Supremely athletic, has every tool, the shot power, the instinct, the finishing instinct is there. All of that is there. Probably some of the best finishing instincts in the Premier League. But finishing ability, not so much. And that's what you buy a striker for, is to finish the ball. And he's one of my favorite players on Liverpool. Don't get me wrong. I love Darwin Núñez. But I can see him potentially having a future in midfield like Joelinton. I've said that before in a comment. I could see him playing as an attacking midfielder and being really physical, being high energy, winning the ball back. He's a great passer, by the way. That's another part of his game that I feel like a lot of people kind of ignore. Fantastic passer, fantastic passing range. I could see him being in midfield, being a big physical midfielder, and then just bringing in a bona fide finisher ahead of him. That could potentially happen. You never know with Arne Slot. He tries a lot of interesting things, so we'll see what ends up happening. Um, I want him so United don't get him. I don't want him to follow him. I know if Gyökeres comes to the Premier League and it's not for us, we need to all be really, really scared. And then Nigel said, we're going to come back to the platform and I'll have, I told you so with Darwin. He's a younger, he can adjust. This season, he's not getting that offside as he used to. Very true. Not nearly as much offsides as Mbappe has inherited the offside gene from him. But I love Darwin, and I think he has every tool to be the best striker in the world. The amount of chances and opportunities that he gets and that he finds himself in is it's world class. His movement and the way that he's able to find these goal scoring positions is world class. He just has to work on actually finishing the ball, which he can get there for sure. But then there's guys that are just natural born finishers like Mo Salah, right? Who have the work ethic and the natural talent. That's just like, damn. If Mo gets in half of those positions, Mo quadruples his numbers, right? So, but we'll see. Reese said, Slot ain't gonna play games with the kid Zuby anymore after that mad disrespect. Yeah, I think so too. You know us. You know how we roll. We don't take that stuff very lightly. And you'd have to imagine it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. And the only way that I feel like we go back for Zubamendi is if Hughes really, really, really wants to go back and redeem himself. But none of our other sporting directors have ever been have taken well to those types of moments. If a player ever shows a sign of like disrespect, I guess is the word, because he's a nice guy. He seems like a nice guy. They typically are like, all right, cool, fine. We wipe our hands of that and we let him go, right? So they basically bullied him into staying. I mean, he's a grown man. He's 25 years old, about to be 26. This is your career. This is your professional life. At some point, you got to stand up for yourself, or you have to have your agent needs to stand up for you if that's not you, and you need to do what's right for your career. So, but I get it. They did. And now look at them. So, Reese said, I don't think folks fully realize how ice cold Slot is. All business in the best way. Has treaded lightly because he's still new, but in reality, he will pull no punches while saying everything with a smile. It's true. He has that Dutch bluntness, man. He has that Dutch bluntness, and he does not hold back, and I love it. I love it. I love it. And if you're not good enough, you're not good enough. He'll find another way to get use out of it. I mean, look at Endo. He truly does not believe that Endo is at the level that he needs to be at to play in his side. So he just doesn't play him. And I know that's harsh and it couldn't happen to a better individual in Endo, but Slot he knows what he wants. He knows what he needs in a team. And if he doesn't think you fit that, then you just don't fit that. And that's it. It's that simple. Same thing happened with Ibu. Same thing happened with his replacement, Kwanzaa. And then back again with Kwanzaa. He's like, all right, well, Kwanzaa's not working. I'm going with Ibu again. And then Ibu has been in the best form of his life ever since being brought back into the team after being dropped out of the team by Slot in the first place. So you need that. You need that competitive edge. You need that competitive spirit where you know that your place in the side isn't guaranteed week in, week out. And that was the thing that was missing with Klopp is the competition for sides and no favoritism. You get in the side if you perform. And it's that simple. It's that straightforward with Slot. And I believe that competition will always bring the best out of a player. Always bring the best out of a player. And we're seeing some of the best out of some of these players that we haven't seen before. Ibu is performing like the best center back in the world right now. Is that crazy to say? I don't know if that's crazy to say, but Ibu is playing better than Virgil van Dijk. I think right now, all things considered, this might be a crazy statement. I think Ibu is the best center back at Liverpool and in the Premier League right now. My personal opinion. I think he's played so well. I think VVD is the second best center back at Liverpool right now as we speak. As we speak, not talking about entire career, right? VVD is one of the best to ever do it. So, but as we speak, Ibu is a serious contender for best center back in the world. Captain the French team as well. Been a beast, been a monster on the international level as well. We are blessed with two of the best in the world, man. Seriously. And then Brian said, transfer market is reporting rumor Marmoush to LFC for 40 million. If it's 40 million, I'm taking that. If it's 40 million, I'm taking that. 100%. I'll take 40 million for Marmoush. And I said that before. I said that if we're going to buy anybody for in the attacking role, and if it's Marmoush, it can't be over 50, 60 million. I'm going 40 million. I said, if we can get 40 million, we taking 40 million, baby. And I'm seeing Sabo literally just scored an equalizer, a Panenka penalty for Hungary over Germany right now. I'm seeing that. I'm seeing that he's actually having an outstanding game for them right now. So hopefully he carries that into the Liverpool squad. You guys know how much I love this man. I'm seeing that Southampton is interested in signing Endrick on loan in January. That's interesting. Who knows if that's actually going to happen, but that'll be cool to see. It looks like Allison is back. Allison is back training. This was reported 3 hours ago. Marmoush is on the docket. They're saying maybe next summer for Marmoush. I think we get him now. Jaden Dans is back in training. Jaden Dans is alive, y'all. Jaden Dans is back in training. He's alive. He's alive. Yeah. I see he just signed a contract with Adidas, which is pretty cool. I'm hearing things about Chouamini. I'm hearing things about Chouamini. Another one, another DM that is very disrespectful to us in the beginning, and now we potentially could be going back for. Let me know what your feelings are about that. But I'm not getting worked up about our transfer business. There's a reason Feyenoord fans keep peeking over at LFC with anticipation. They know what Slot will do when he gets the guys he wants. That's true. And I think they will give him that based off of what's kind of unfolded. Marmoush is the heir to the throne. He could be. There's different aspects to defending that I think a lot of people don't account for when evaluating VVD. I think Ibu is better channel defender, but not overall defender than VVD. Good point. Very good point. I think Ibu was close though. I think Ibu was close. If we're gonna take in Ibu's strength, which is that channel defending, which is covering space, I think he's good one-on-one too. I think he's great one-on-one. I think he might be a better one-on-one defender. I think VVD's positioning is unparalleled. The way that he can get attackers to do what he wants whenever he wants is crazy. He does. It's a lot of the times VVD doesn't even have to put a tackle in to put some of these forwards off. But if we're going like 1v1 defending, ground covered, aerial dominance, I actually think Ibu, I was looking at a stat, I think Ibu was actually better in the air than VVD this season. I might be wrong now. I remember checking this like maybe a week or two ago. It's close. And this is how spoiled we are. We're literally having a conversation about which one of our two center backs is the best center back in the world right now. That like we're having a conversation like, yeah, I think one of our center backs is the best center back in the world, not the other one, but it's a close race. That's how spoiled we are right now as Liverpool fans, that we have two of the very, very best in the world that are close to being the best in the world. So I love it. Reese also said Frankfurt ain't selling Marmoush in January. They had Champions League qualification badly. They want Champions League qualification badly. Yeah, I think it would have to be a significant offer for them to part ways with Marmoush, who's essentially their main man, is like almost single-handedly willing them into this whole thing. But we'll see what happens. Forgot to hit that like button. Yeah, don't forget to hit that like button, guys. I need to start mentioning that more. It helps the channel get mentioned and recommended out to other Liverpool fans so we can make this conversation much, much bigger. So make sure you guys hit that like button. Appreciate all of you for tuning into this edition of Unconformed ONFORM, the podcast, right? So Ibu is definitely gaining a lot of ground. Attackers are giving him the VVD treatment of not even bothering to run when in a foot race with him. Fast, athletic, can cover ground. I mean, I remember he pocketed Vinny Jr. last time we came up against him. Absolutely put him in pockets, bro. And then and I love what's coming out from him. I remember there's an interview that came out and they're like, what's next for you, Ibu? You know, you're the captain of France and it potentially could be a permanent thing. You may take it off of Mbappe. What's next? And he's just like, I want to captain Liverpool now. Like, bro, I love hearing that type of stuff. He's like, my next goal is to be the captain of Liverpool. That's my next goal. And I can see it, man. Him and Trent, once VVD decides to retire, after, 2 or 3 years, retire red, then we got Ibu. We got Ibu and Trent as leaders. And I'm hearing that Trent is close to a deal and they're potentially trying to get that deal done before Christmas. I'm hearing a lot of polarizing things about Trent, but I'm also hearing that he could go to Madrid. That Madrid want him really badly, but I'm also hearing that Trent's like kind of set on staying at Liverpool and signing that long-term contract and being a captain for us and being that Steven Gerrard-esque figure. So we'll see what happens. I look back at Hansen and Lawrenson, a very similar pairing style wise to Kanate and BVD. Hansen has the brains, and Lawrence was the action man. True, they're a great combo, fantastic combo, and may go down as our best center back partnership in the Premier League era if they aren't already. So, Reformed said, I don't think these guys were disrespectful. Chouamini just preferred Real Madrid. Fair play to him. And Zubi is from the Basque region. Players from there are often loyal to the area. I'd still take both. Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm taking Chouamini and Zubamendi in a heartbeat if it happens. I don't know how I feel about it at first. Maybe after that first game, and they absolutely bossed the midfield. I'll quickly forget what they said and did. But you don't pass up on a world class player because they hurt your feelings. That's just dumb. Trent is going. We have to be at peace with that. I don't. I have a feeling that he's not. I was all of a sudden now. I feel like, and I'll wrap up on this because I know we're close to an hour or we're at an hour now. I get a feeling now that it's actually Mo Salah. That Mo Salah is going to be the one that ends up moving on. And Trent and VVD are the ones that end up sticking around. I get that feeling. Just from now that I'm looking into some of the comments that Mo has made, some of the Instagram posts, I know it's social media and stuff like that, that Mo has kind of been saying, and it almost sounds like it's like a last hurrah kind of thing. Like, this is my last one. I want to make it special kind of feeling. And honestly, I wouldn't be mad at it. Mo will always be a legend at Liverpool. He will be the greatest winger to ever play for us. That is no doubt. Probably the greatest attacker in the Premier League era that has ever played for us. No, I'd say yes. He is the greatest attacker in the Premier League era that has ever played for us. And could potentially get a statue, especially if we do something special this season. He wins a Ballon d'Or with us. We win a Premier League. He could get a statue for sure. It's starting to feel more like a goodbye all of a sudden for Salah out of nowhere. So, and I think in Red Chili, yes. I don't know if you're referring to this specifically, but it feels like smoke and mirrors for Trent. That like he wants a specific number, and he's I think the media is kind of overhyping some of this Real Madrid interest and stuff like that, and maybe engineered by his manager or by his manager, which I believe is his parents. And I get a feeling that Trent's not going anywhere. I just get that feeling. So, but I don't know. I could be wrong. If Trent goes, then I've been on the other side of the fence too. That I thought Trent was definitely out, but now I'm not. I feel like that's just not the case. It's just not going to happen. And then Reese, I think we're at a point where it's an either or with Trent and Salah, not both. 100%. So you actually were able to put it into words of what I was thinking. I'd rather have 2 years of Salah at a current price than 5 years of the highest paid in the EPL Trent under the slot scheme. Yeah, I think it's going to be an either or, and I think it's going to be Mo that ends up moving on. I think VVD stays 100%. I think it's just a matter of time before we get that deal done with VVD. But I think for Trent and Mo, I think it's an either or situation. Either we keep Mo and Trent moves on for free, sadly, or we keep Trent and we end up moving Mo on for free, sadly. So we'll see what happens. And then Reform said, I used to prefer Varela over Zubi when watching highlights, but when I actually watched their games, I instantly saw that Zubi is at least one tier above, if not more, for sure. Varela is very fun to watch. He's a good on the eye type of player. He reminds me a lot of Mascherano, believe it or not. When Mascherano used to be a DM and not a center back. All action, big tackles, big movements, big cross-field passes and stuff like that. But then Zubi is just like no nonsense, sticks to the basics, slight movement here, slight movement there, reading the game 2 and 3 steps ahead, making smart passes to where the guy he passes it to can make an easy pass. You know what I mean? It's those types of things that you kind of got to look into when you're looking at these types of positions. Highlights don't do Zubamendi justice at all. Don't read into the rumors. I don't think any of these journos here or abroad know what any of our players are thinking. I could easily see all three staying for sure. That's a total possibility as well. I do think that all three do not go. I don't think that happens, but it could be. And that's a video that I'm actually going to be doing this week. I'm dropping multiple videos this week, guys, on a lot of things. Like, what does the reality look like if only one resigns or two resigns or none of them resigns? And what I think FSG is planning for the future for Liverpool, because unfortunately players move on and things change, and we're always trying to prepare for those things, especially FSG. So I hope you're right for Trent's sakes. Don't be a Coutinho. Yeah, he'll just be another player at Madrid if he ends up moving on to Madrid. And I feel like that's the only place that really makes sense for him. And then Trent is the modern day McManaman. That's a good comparison, actually. Hopefully he does not go to Madrid like McManaman did, though. But that's mainly what I want to talk about. Big Sabo had a huge night against Germany. 7 chances created, 3 fouls, 75% pass accuracy, 4 touches in the opposition box, 7 passes into the final third, 4 accurate crosses. He is the man of the match, and let's hope that that continues for Liverpool FC. But I don't think he gets over Curtis Jones this weekend, guys. We will see, though. Appreciate all of you. I'm going to be dropping some more videos, like I said before, tomorrow, and then on Wednesday or on Thursday, and then we're going to do a reaction for the game this Saturday. Put your predictions for the game, or this Sunday, sorry. Put your predictions for the game this Sunday. I think we go crazy. We go on a riot. We get going. I'm going to predict a 4-0 win for Liverpool this weekend. So appreciate all of you. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you guys on the next one. You guys are awesome. Oh, wait. I see the comment there about Callagher to Chelsea. That's not happening. I saw that rumor. That's not happening. Didn't they just buy like 3 goalkeepers this off season? They don't need another goalkeeper. Like, let's keep Callagher maybe in another league. Let's not send him to one of our rivals. But appreciate you all. Thanks for hanging out. You guys have a good one.